Hello everybody, it's Jay Brayson here again with an entirely different thing of good old Dominions 4. So this is a game that I've actually won. I don't lose all my games. And it was as LA Atlantis with the same kind of map goons crew as the EA Kailasa game. This last couple of turns people went AI, so I just bashed through them really quickly. But let's have a look at the stats. So nation overview is not really something that's important to watch. But when we look at school graphs, so we have provinces, where I was doing pretty well all game. Forts, where I was just massively ahead. Income, likewise, apart from the last couple of turns, but that's just due to basically rushing through as fast as possible to win. Gem income, I was looking pretty good, although actually German was doing quite well itself. Research, where I was behind, considerably behind German. But for most of the game was kind of somewhat competitive. LA Atlantis, who I was playing, don't have terribly good research on the whole. They have a single Air 1 mage as their capital only commander. It can roll it 1 in 4 times, or actually slightly above that. But other than that, they really have to rely on the death levels, which you usually have a much better use for your death jumps. I was playing with Magic and Hearts, so we actually had some unique national spells for that. But yeah, so it's really just a video showing that hey, it can be done. So what we did first was taking over a whole little island here, kind of teardrop shape. Man, who's over here, who I could have killed in the end but didn't, just as a time saver, tried to mad dog me by sending his pretender god right into this lake over here, where he had it die instantly to Ichthyids, which was rather amusing. And then we took this whole area. Germon's recently taken some of this, just while it's AI, while I've been basically teleporting people around taking thrones. But previously this was all my territory. We then kind of fought an incredibly long and lame kind of skirmishy type raidy thing with them. Ragga tried to stab me in the back when I attacked Agartha, who's still not Agartha, Abyssea rather, who's still somehow alive. So I completely took them over. Oh yeah, back over here is Marignon. Steve Finn was in this game. Similar to the game where he was TC, he died really easily. I guess he just needs to work on his dominions a bit, I guess. And over here is Ulm, over here, who went with a very strange, very vampire focused build, with really bad economic scales, which meant they never really got off the ground, and so Man attacked them, I think, a little bit. Certainly Ragga did, and then because your best commanders can all sail as Atlantis, I basically sailed over here and took some of this territory off them. But yeah, over here there was a big battle using some of the worthy heroes, but ultimately it all came down to a throne rush, which Atlantis is actually somewhat well positioned to do, because it has the mages. Let's find one over here. One of these guys, given sufficient boosters, can summon a Lich, who's down over here. This one's called Nightbane, and Liches can use a spell called Stitch and Paths, which is a relatively late, I believe, Thaumaturgy spell, kind of 7-ish, maybe it's 8, yeah, level 8, which is basically a mass army teleport in the same way as, for example, Gateway, although you can use it to any single province within 10, even without any additional range boosters, with the caveat that some of the guys that travel with you are going to pop their clogs, so just got to deal with that. And then using our underwater commanders, which you can get as LA Atlantis, called Forgiving Fathers. The ones that roll astral, you can give an extra booster, which when they can teleport. So I teleported them together with the Lich. Then with a water booster on those self-same commanders, this one's got Crystal Coin, but you can also use a Starshine Skullcap. You can then give them a water bracelet, and so long as there's a lab, they can then summon a Bishop Fish. And a Bishop Fish is a level 3 priest, which allows them to take thrones. There's a new commander that Magic Enhanced added that I actually prophetized, called Ghost King. Over here is my prophet over here, the ghost is with the mostest. and his role was to basically, he can sneak, and in addition to that I gave him these new magic enhanced boots called Restride boots, which I used to basically take him from being over here-ish to teleporting on this throne over at the Forest of Death, to then teleport to this throne at the Woods of Memory, to then with a range booster, because it's 7 provinces away, range booster uses the Arcane Lens, then to go to Bed Gardens, which was formerly Niflheim's territory, to kind of round things out. So yes, overall Atlantis, LA Atlantis is a pretty strong nation, and certainly if you're trying to be a tryhard, I would definitely recommend them. Their Cap-Only Commander is very good, very versatile. I empowered one of them in Death as a way to get to level 4. He rolled a natural 3, which gave me 2 things. One was the ever-present threat of going for a cast a Burden of Time or release an Ossoy in Magic Enhanced, which is basically a global that massively curtails income and kills or poisons large amounts of people, which is kind of like a mutually shared destruction option. And the other thing it offers you is the ability to summon liches. My pretender in the game was this guy, Brian Overbrawl in the Idol Abyss, who is a Nature 9 mage, which was strictly for all my sacreds. There's quite a few decent ones, so long as you've got Magic Enhanced running. Without it, you have these Acetut, and you have a couple of other guys, I think. Certainly affects your Anchorcock and your Tungalik commanders. These guys are basically your workhorse for everything. They are relatively good commanders. They are only research mage, so you just kind of have to work around them. And then underwater you get some different guys. So you get the Forgiving Father, who's an excellent mage. It's basically an improved version of the mage you can get as E Atlantis, but for some reason they got cheaper. That's just how it goes. They avoid Sanity because the faction is really intended to fight LA Relia. In fact, the reason I joined this game was because I was invited by someone who was worried about Relia being too dominant in the game if they joined. So I said, well, fine, I'll join as LA Atlantis. Relia kind of flaked out on it, so ended up playing them anyway, and they've been a very strong faction. For anyone new to Dominions and new to the late age especially, I'd very much recommend them. They're a very synergistic faction. So what you have is a faction that works well with the cold, when your highest quality troops, these Ice Warriors and Ice Guard and so on, get additional protection per point of cold. So 3 points of cold, these guys have 24 prot, which is more or less invulnerable to most stuff. They're also amphibian, and because of the fact that you can sail with your Anchorcock, you can actually transport them relatively far, much further than their 2-map move would ordinarily suggest. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been Joe Britton, and yeah, goodbye. Take care until next time.